There's the Shooters Waterfront Cafe racing team, currently first in open class. You can see it's pretty gray out there. The weather is pretty nasty. It's cloudy and raining. Now it looks like that Shooters is pulling away from the helicopter, which shows how fast these boats are really going today. We're having a hard time keeping up with them. Great race here at the 1993 Montauk Offshore Grand Prix. There's Dirty Laundry. Dirty Laundry is a 46-foot coupe cat powered by four 900-horsepower Keith Eichert inboards. As we look at Dirty Laundry, we go inside Shooters, where we have our on-board camera giving you a nice view of what the driver sees. As we look at the waters, we see the back of Dirty Laundry. On the left side there, as the picture gets a little bit closer, Dirty Laundry is getting closer, and Shooters is making some headway, passing Dirty Laundry. Looks like now that Shooters is number one overall, and Dirty Laundry has been passed. As we look at Shooters, we see Anthony Izzo driving, and at the throttle is Rick Conti from Aventura, Florida. Shooters is now number one overall in this 1993 Montauk Offshore Grand Prix. There's Dirty Laundry, driven by Joe Mock from St. Louis, Missouri. At the throttle, Harold Smith, or Smitty, as he is affectionately known. He's from Palm Coast, Florida. Dirty Laundry came in first place in San Diego, and also in first place in Long Beach, California, earlier this year. There you see Shooters currently first in open class, and there's Dirty Laundry putting down the hammer and makes a move and picking up some ground. Dirty Laundry currently first in the superboat class. As you can see, the weather conditions are somewhat deteriorating here as some of the raindrops get on our lands. And there's Dirty Laundry. Apparently there was some confusion a little bit earlier as to where the turns might be. That's why Dirty Laundry is pulling back to the end. Very well. There's Dirty Laundry now, picking up speed, currently number one overall here at the 1993 Montauk Offshore Grand Prix. Dirty Laundry Racing Team. There you see Shooters on the outside, currently number one in open class. There's C-18 Wits End Racing. It's a 32-foot skater powered by two 580-horsepower Chevy engines with Merc Cruiser drives. On board, driver Robert Whitgill of Albany, New York. At the throttle, Jim Denuyer. The Wits End Racing Team would like to thank Performance Marine of Lake George, New York, for maintaining the Wits End boat. Currently, Wits End is number one in C class. By the way, this is the first race for the 1993 season for the Wits End Racing Team. Some of the other competitors in C class include Rolling Thunder, Mr. Goodwrench, Foster's Blue Thunder, and How Sweet It Is Too. That's the Wits End Racing Team, currently number one in C class. As we look back, there's How Sweet It Is Too, making some headway, getting a little closer there to Wits End Racing, so it looks like there's a duel there between Wits End Racing and How Sweet It Is Too. As we look back again, we see How Sweet It Is Too making up some room. Of course, there's still plenty of time in this race, and there's a fight there between first and second place in C class. Looking at the Wits End Racing Team here at the 1993 Montauk Offshore Grand Prix. Currently second in the modified class is How Sweet It Is Too. How Sweet It Is Too is a 32-foot skater with two 600-horsepower MRD inboards and Merc Cruiser outdrives. Aboard How Sweet It Is Too is Carlton Myers from Canada's New York, and the throttle Jim McIntyre from East Yaphank, New York. Now, as we look at How Sweet It Is Too, which is currently in second place, we see Wits End Racing in first place. Now, it looks like this is going to be a hard-fought race here in the modified division. It's How Sweet It Is 2 and Wits End Racing. Now, How Sweet It Is 2 is rigged and maintained by MRD in eastern Long Island, a short way from here, as a matter of fact. How Sweet It Is 2 came in first place in Long Beach, California, and first place in San Diego, California, earlier this year. Now, as you can see, the raindrops in our lens, you can see that it's raining out there, but the conditions are pretty good, actually, for a very fast race because the waters are calm. There's a look now from inside How Sweet It Is 2 with our onboard camera. There you see Carl Myers doing an excellent job driving How Sweet It Is 2. And at the throttle is Jim McIntyre. He's from East Yaphank, Long Island, just a short distance away from here. Once again, How Sweet It Is 2 is rigged and maintained by MRD, also from eastern Long Island. Driver's point of view in this 1993 Montauk Offshore Grand Prix. Some of the other competitors in the modified class, along with How Sweet It Is 2, include Wits End Racing, Mr. Goodwrench, Foster's Blue Thunder, and Rolling Thunder. Once again, you're looking at our onboard camera, onboard How Sweet It Is 2. You're looking at the How Sweet It Is 2 racing team. We wish them the very best of luck for the 1993 season. There's Wits End Racing in first place, and it looks like a pretty good fight there between Wits End Racing and How Sweet It Is 2, making some room. Looks like How Sweet It Is 2 is moving up to Wits End Racing. Now, while it's still pretty early in the race, we feel that because these two boats, How Sweet It Is 2 and Wits End Racing, are pretty identical, this race for first place in the C class is going to go right down to the wire. There's Wits End Racing, currently in first place, right behind How Sweet It Is 2. Once again, there is our inboard camera, and there's Wits End Racing on the right side there. You can see the driver's view of Wits End Racing as it's making up some ground. Carl Myers doing an excellent job keeping that boat in control. How Sweet It Is 2 keeping it steady on course, right behind Wits End Racing. We wish the How Sweet It Is 2 racing team the very best of luck for the 1993 season. Once again, this is the 1993 Montauk Offshore Grand Prix, the third U.S. offshore race for 1993 and the first national race for U.S. offshore here in Montauk, Long Island. Overhead view of How Sweet It Is 2. There's D1 Eastern Express. Eastern Express is a 32-foot skater with a white hull and deck powered by two 650 horsepower engines, Chevy engines with Merc Cruiser drive. Aboard Eastern Express, Joseph Bresciani of St. Clair, Michigan. He's driving. At the throttle, Robert Herrig, also from St. Clair, Michigan. Eastern Express took first place in Lake Peoria, Illinois earlier this year. Took that race with an average speed of 112.79 miles per hour. Eastern Express in 1992, well, it was the world champion in its class. That racing team also the runner-ups in 1991 in the World Championships. Also the runners-up in 1991 for the national points, and they took third place in 1989 for the national points. You're looking at the Eastern Express racing team. Some of the other competition in D class along with Eastern Express: Instant Therapy, Extractor, and Mohegan Warrior. There's Extractor on the inside. Extractor is a 32-foot superboat powered by two 650 horsepower Zool racing engines with Mercury drive. Ford Extractor. Driving is Al Sibeli from Westbury, New York. At the throttle is Jim Lensnowski from Babylon, New York. Navigating is Bob Guzzo from Westbury. There's Extractor on the inside and Eastern Express on the outside. Both vying there for first place in D class. This one looks like Eastern Express has the edge, but it's pretty close right now. As both are involved in a pretty good battle there in D class. On the inside, Eastern Express on the outside. Both giving each other a pretty good fight. Eastern Express. We wish the Extractor and the Eastern Express racing teams the very best of luck for the remainder of this 1993 season during the U.S. Offshore Racing Association campaign. Extractor and Eastern Express involved in the duel. D class. Well, it looks like the Extractor picked up a little bit on that turn and is now in first place, but this race is certainly not over yet. Eastern Express in second place for the time being. Eastern Express holding its own, getting closer to Extractor. Good fight in D class. There's Ocean Outboard in open class. Ocean Outboard is a 40-foot skater powered by Mercruiser 800 plus offshore motors with Mercruiser drives. Ocean Outboard is owned by Ernie Deladon from Wilmington, Delaware. At the throttle is Tony Caligari from Merrick, New York, and driving is Russ Wilkin. Tony would like to thank Ernie Deladon, the owner, for allowing him to run the boat today, since Ernie was not able to be here today. And Tony would also like to thank Mercury Marine. We're looking at the Ocean Outboard Racing team. Now, some of the other competition in the open class include Team Jaguar, Gifford Racing, Shooters Waterfront Cafe, Labatt, and Budweiser. That's the Ocean Outboard Racing team. Throttle man Tony Caligari is the owner and operator of Ocean Outboard in Merrick, New York, which is a rigger of high-performance boats. Ocean Outboard is also a dealer for skaters, fountains, superboats, Mercury, and Mercury high-performance products. You're looking at the Ocean Outboard Racing team. Once again, this is the 1993 Montauk Offshore Grand Prix, the first national race for U.S. Offshore Racing Association. Currently, we're on S39. How Sweet It Is, a brand new 28-foot skater powered by two 2.5 EFI Mercury outboards. Driving How Sweet It Is, Darren LaChance from Plainville, Massachusetts. At the throttle, Terry Ayers from St. Charles, Missouri. The owner of How Sweet It Is, Carl Myers from Springfield, New York. How Sweet It Is took first place in Lake Peoria, Illinois earlier this year, but with their older 24-foot skater. Now, of course, there's a brand new 28-foot skater. And this new boat is rigged and maintained by Ocean Outboard. Some of the other competition in the super stock class: Hot and Nasty, DeSantis Chevy, and Topaz. Looking at the how sweet it is racing team. Brand new 28-foot skater. Terriers at the throttle from St. Charles, Missouri, and he's doing a fine job there at throttle. Darryl LaChance, Plainville, Massachusetts. Excellent driving. How sweet it is. Those two 2.5 EFIs sound excellent. And the boat has a good attitude. Wish the best of luck for the How Sweet It Is racing team for the rest of the 1993 season. Currently in first place in the super stock class, DeSantis Chevrolet, 28-foot skater with a white hull and deck, powered by two 2.5 Mercury outboards. Driving DeSantis Chevy, Daniel DeSantis from West Bridgewater, Massachusetts. At the throttle, Mark Hilsinger from Methuen, Massachusetts. The owner of DeSantis Chevy is DeSantis Chevrolet. The DeSantis Chevy racing team would like to thank some of their sponsors, which include Auto Palace, Sunoco Motor Oil, and Extreme Sportswear. I'd also like to thank Tony, Jim, and Ed at Ocean Outboard for maintaining and rigging the boat, their advice and support as well. One of the other crew members for DeSantis Chevy include Richard DeSantis from Delray Beach, Florida. Once again, DeSantis Chevy is currently in first place in super stock. Some of the other competitors in the super stock class include Hot and Nasty, Topaz, and How Sweet It Is. Looking at the DeSantis Chevy racing team. There's the 40-foot Jaguar Gifford Racing. As we look at the boat, we can tell that the Gifford Racing crew did a fine job as Gifford Racing is smoking around that course, making up some ground. The boat has a real good attitude. As it goes by the first boat in S-Class, the DeSantis Chevy. That's the Gifford Racing team. There's the 28-foot Manta, the Fever. And let's tell you that the Fever is back, because the Fever right now is #1 in B class. As you may know, this boat has a tremendous race history, has been retired for a while, but now is back into the competition and giving everyone a lot of competition. Currently #1 in B class, and if it continues to run the way it's running right now, well, there's no way that the other boat's going to catch up. On board, Joe Stroh from Belmore, New York. He's the driver. At the throttle, Joe Latona from Merrick, New York. Navigating, Jeff Cropper from Dix Hills, New York. The Fever Racing team would like to thank the S&S Propeller Company, Rich Zool for the motors. And by the way, those Zool motors are sounding terrific. And they'd also like to thank Al Grover Marine in Freeport, Long Island. They're looking at the Fever Racing team, currently #1 in B class. Some of the other competition in B class include Burning Desire, Rip and Tear, Instigator, Shockwave, and Parts Plus, and we're all having a hard time catching up to Fever. Fever currently #1 in B class. This is the 1993 Montauk Offshore Grand Prix, the first national race for the U.S. Offshore Racing Association. There's P-85 Jaws, a 32-foot superboat with white and red hull and deck, powered by three 2.5 Mercury outboards. On board Jaws, driver Ronnie Appleby from Denville, New Jersey. At the throttle, David Horseman from Hackettstown, New Jersey. Navigating, John Stalling from Hanover, New Jersey. Some of the sponsors of Jaws include Cody Marine, Solidity Auto Parts, and Florum Park Transmissions. Jaws took second place in 1992 in the Nationals and also second place in 1992 in the Regionals. Some of the other crew members include Pat DeFalco from East Hanover, New Jersey, and Barry Copley from Johnsburg, New Jersey. You're looking at the Jaws racing team. Some of the other competitors in the pro stock class, along with Jaws: High Risk, Great Adventure, and Insanity. This 32-foot superboat is manufactured right here on Long Island by Superboats in Lindenhurst, Long Island. A brand new boat for this racing team, the Jaws racing team. We wish Jaws the very best of luck for the 1993 racing season. Currently #2 in the pro stock class.